Right, so the Nike Phantom 6 is Nike's brand new Phantom series model. I have been obsessed with the Phantom series ever since Hypervenom Phantom 1, which was the first of a very, very long line of Nike Phantoms. We've had some amazing regular editions, we've had some crazy special editions, and some cool stuff in between as well. It fits my foot almost perfectly, so I'm gonna assume that this new Phantom 6 is actually gonna fit me really, really well, and might be up for boot of the year already just because of what it is, at least in my book. But without further ado, let's jump into it. Interesting choice to go with the orange box. Now, this could be just a sock situation. This could just be because they're trying to save money. Regardless, standard Nike orange box. This, by the way, is Nike's actual brand color for those of you who don't know. It's a very interesting color for a sportswear brand, but it is cool nonetheless. It looks like Home Depot to me anyway. These are the Phantom 6 Low Elite limited edition in AG Pro. So this will be the AG Pro review as well. I will also be reviewing the high cut model in FG, so you'll get a little bit of both from both sides. The chrome finish will wear off. Thanks, Nike, appreciate that. Usual size 9 US, and the women's size 10.5, UK 8, 27 centimeters, and a Euro 42.5. If you guys are interested in more sizing across all of the different brands, you guys can download my free size guide on my website. I'll leave the link down below. Let's jump into the unboxing here. All right, so some really interesting, very cool, kind of text heavy string bag here. So it says Nike football in in a lot of different languages, I believe. So very nice, a little bit something different compared to what they've had before. This might just be a special edition version, but I am not sure. All right, here we go. Oh yeah. All right, this isn't getting an Oh My Days because I gotta be honest with you, I'm not a huge fan of this colorway. However, it is distinctive, and I do like that this low top has the black in the back, and then the high cut has the silver in the back. That's really cool, visual distinction. And there's some very, very pokey Nike swooshes here in the heel. So we'll get to that in a little bit. Some Gripknit uppers, all the things we like to see from a Nike Phantom. And then there is your brand new AG stud pattern. Very excited about this. I have extensive experience in the previous AG model, so that is something that we will get into quite heavily, I think, today. Let's get the rest of this unboxed. Here we go. There's your right shoe as well. And then I'm also going to get a lot of these Phantoms off the table, but I do want to talk about a couple different ones. So we'll get these ones out of the way, and then I'm going to keep all the Gripknit models. So bye-bye, my love. Okay, so Phantom 6. What is Phantom 6? It's a very, very close replica of the Phantom GX1, which was a beloved football boot when it came out. Everybody freaked out about it. They were so hard to get in, specifically this pink colorway, the launch blue colorway that I had a couple different variants of, and that was a boot that really put my channel, honestly, on the map. I had a pre-production model, or I guess it was a production model, but I got it out of the factory really, really early on, like 2 months before it actually launched, and I had a full review and play test and 1 month review done before the boots actually launched. So I have I have a lot of positive feelings about the Nike Phantom GX1. So the fact that they went sort of backwards, I guess, or maybe backwards and sideways to get back to very distinct design language from the GX with this new Phantom 6 is kind of cool. I like the design. I think it's very, very cool. I've actually seen the Fear Nothing pack, which is the blue Gripknit and the white base. Those look absolutely excellent. And I do, kind of the two-tone Phantom looks really cool in my opinion. And so this is the new design. It's a Flyknit base, so you get basically the same construction with a little bit more optimization from the GX1. So it's the Flyknit base, and then you have a re-engineered, slightly thinner, and a little bit more waxy grip knit element here in the midfoot and forefoot that wraps all the way around the boot. And then this different color, in this case the orange, is actually a piece of Flyknit that is slightly more hard. It's almost like kind of the shot shield that we actually got on the Phantom Venom. So it's actually got quite a similar kind of toughness to it. It's obviously not like this. It's not plastic, or it's not a very hard synthetic like this one is, but it does provide a very similar vibe in terms of aesthetic. As you can see, they're placed in almost the identical position with the identical angle, and it's kind of that sweet spot where you hit the ball, which is really nice. So that is a cool feature as well. And then the AG sole plate has gotten visually a lot wider than the previous model, as with kind of similar design elements. So they've got some smaller studs, 4 of them here in the kind of the center of the forefoot area, and then you have the 4 conical studs here on the lateral side of the forefoot, 4 on the medial side of the forefoot, and then your standard 4 there. They've also been a little bit elongated, if you will, especially here in the rear. You can tell the studs are quite a bit longer than the previous AG model. And then you've got a really nice little rib here in the midfoot, which if I take the paper out of this one, first of all, we'll get a little softness. Very, very nice. One thing to note actually right here is this silver bit that goes all the way around the toe area is a synthetic, and it looks to me to be very, very similar to what they put on actual turf models. So the rubber elements on the bottom, and it almost looks like a piece of reinforcement. And I'm wondering if that came from comments from pros. I never really had any issues with fraying outside of a boot that the custom pair that I actually wore for my title-winning season of 2023 is somewhere down below behind me in the corner, and that boot has very minimal fraying on this grip knit for how often I use those boots. I probably have over a 10-month season or 9-month season training. I wore them on average about 3 days a week for 2 hours. So 6 times, you know, whatever, 10 months, 40 weeks, like that's a lot of hours. Kelvin, can you just put that math up on screen? It's a lot of hours. And I had barely any fraying, and it didn't have the reinforcement. So maybe there was some issues with durability, but needless to say, I think this silver edition actually might add, it won't take away from the actual grip knit sensation on ball, but it might add a little bit of durability there, which is very, very cool. So that is the Nike Phantom 6 in a nutshell. These look really nice. I like the kind of the visual elements of them, very striking. I'm not sure about this heel little Nike swoosh though. It's very, very spiky. So if you got hit in the face with this or got tackled or swiped, I mean, that is proper sharp. So interesting, and interested to see if they keep that for future colorways. But needless to say, the silo looks really good in comparison to the Phantom GX2, or this is the Luna 2, but it's the same boot. We can just literally do that with the collar, and then, oh, by the way, it becomes a GX2. Here's the changes that they've made to the stud pattern. So again, literally nothing except for an extra stud here in the midfoot, or the middle of the forefoot, excuse me, and then you can see pretty clearly the difference in stud length, which is really nice. And then it's gotten a little bit wider as well. So these are both in a size 9 US, but they've gone from sort of a 2-layer upper, then back to, or then upgraded to just a single layer upper with the Phantom Luna 2 and GX2, and then with the Phantom 6, a much softer grip knit here with the double layer upper again for the Phantom 6. So I didn't really mind the double layer upper in the GX1, but let's head out on pitch, talk about sizing, and see how these perform in comparison to the previous 2 grip knit models and how they stack up against all the other fabulous Phantom models that Nike has produced over the last several years. All right, fam, out at the pitch with the Phantom 6 AG low top. These I'm very excited about because I absolutely loved Phantom GX1 AG. I wore them so much, and this is just an upgraded version apparently. You can notice how nice and, I guess, easy this heel area is to kind of maneuver, which is really nice. Should give a very soft, very custom feeling around your ankle and your heel area. These are my true to size in a 9 US. You can find a 20% discount code with the WeFoot grip socks down in the description box below. Here we go. Oh yes, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, yes, yes. This is Phantom GX1 on steroids. This is the exact same fit, but with a more anatomical shape, a little more volume in the toe box, and a little bit more room in the toe box, a little bit less pointy, and a little bit more kind of square, as opposed to like straight in as like a triangle. These fit so nicely straight out of the box. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm a little worried about the heel. I imagine they're gonna break in pretty well straight away, but I do think the heel might be a little big for me. We'll see how it is when we start getting the ball on feet and start actually moving around. I'm just noticing a little bit of extra space back here. Again, I'm being super nitpicky because the rest of this boot feels absolutely sensational on feet. These are awesome. These fit my foot really well. I'd imagine they're gonna fit a lot of people really well. And these are definitely the new wide fit boots for Nike. Sole plate feels pretty good as well, bouncing up and down. Haven't done obviously any running in them yet, but so far so good. Let's get this ball rolling. Very, very excited about these. Wow, they feel so natural on feet, like so new and exciting, but also really familiar as somebody who has extensive experience with the GX1 AG. Ooh, come on, there we go. Yes, yeah, I feel right at home in these, man, but everything is just turned up 1 point, 2 points, just that ever so slightly bit more aggressive, little bit more room for me to breathe in a really good way, but still that sort of beautiful GX feeling. So oddly enough, at least in that first drill, heel doesn't feel too cavernous. It doesn't feel too weird. We'll see how we go in the kind of the shooting, which is kind of the easiest way to test how your heel fits, because in shooting drills, you often have the type of movement where you're coming up to the ball and you plant like this. And so there's a lot of sort of wiggle room in terms of your foot. Once that boot sticks in the ground, your foot's either gonna stay or it's gonna slide around and kind of maneuver until it sticks. This all happens in a fraction of a second, but you understand what I mean when you come here and you plant, and I can already see I've got a little bit of dead space here, which I did have on the GX1 as well, in very extreme movement. If you look at photos of like crazy action shots of pros, all of them have it, even in their custom boots, so don't worry about that. But that is where we're gonna go next so we can show. But so far, it feels so good, so familiar, but just that little bit extra something to it. The shape feels updated, perfect. The touch feels awesome. No less barefoot, mind you, than the GX2, which is interesting, but we'll get into that in just a sec. All right, first little feel, bounce off, touchdown. Oh, see you later. Yeah, wow, these must be power boots. Lol. Nah, just technique, to be honest, on my part. Little touchdown. See if we can get these around. Yeah, nice. Yeah, very, very familiar. I would say the ribbing tech, that sort of tech that they took from the Cyclone patterning, there we go, on the GX2. I'll do one more here. The GX2 feels excellent. It actually feels even a little bit more usable. The GX2 one feels really good. As I said in those videos, yep, a little bit more manageable than the GX1. This is sort of that perfect final edition. Man, God, these are good. Especially in AG form. Feels so natural underfoot. And we'll go left foot as well. Just get a little bit of that warm up, but a little bit of strike. Oh, here we go again. Look at that. First one of each one. Just got to get it out of the system. You know what I'm saying? Here we go. Nice. Now, right in the middle of those two shots would be excellent. All right, here we go. Little touchdown. Oh, that's all right. Not great quality there, but the idea is still that feeling is so good. It's so good. I'm really impressed with these. All right, little 1v1 training as well. Just dribbling at speed up to these cones. A little bit of move around and then get a curler into the far post. There we go. Oof, almost. Man, it's hard for me to kind of pick things out that this boot does differently than the GX1, other than the grip, which is obviously a little bit updated. Now, a little bit of a firmer patch on the sweet spot of where you strike the ball does do a nice job of giving you maybe a little bit of extra ping, but honestly, I don't feel like it does all that much. Heel area feels kind of definitively a little bit more little bit more room in the heel compared to GX1, maybe by a skosh. It's like, it's so small, so much kind of similar. Near post, oh, how about right down the pipe, boys and girls? And lacing area is identical. There's zero difference. Out of the box width is a little bit better for me on these, which is good. So that's nice. Oh, you son of a gun. But outside of that, outside of my atrocious shooting right now, they are absolutely fantastic to play in. This is a boot that feels very, very focused, very comfortable, but also very able. It's got this really nice, like I just feel, I keep saying I'm at home with these, but it feels very much like the GX1s that I wore all season in Flower City 2 years ago. Like this, pass, play, agility, no problem. Sole plate is a huge upgrade. It's way less flimsy, so that's really nice. And the midfoot feels a lot more stable. Good amount of kind of push off with the toes, which is really nice. And then the traction has been improved just ever so slightly because they're longer studs. So free kick time. Now, who shouldn't buy these boots? That's a good question we should answer. If you have pretty narrow feet, I would probably recommend going with the Vapor in AG, especially if you're comparing it with this one, which is, you know, obviously the AG model. I would highly recommend Vapor AG if you've got narrower feet, but you still want Gripknit. The Vapor AG Gripknit, or the Vapor Gripknit material, is definitely a lot less exciting in my opinion. The ridges on this one give like a very pingy sensation, where I feel like that one's a lot more barefoot. That one's a lot more, you know, it's a lot thinner than this one, it feels like. This one feels more structured, more purpose-built. And, man, free kicks are just not it today. And I think that's kind of your go. If you have wider feet, this is definitely the model to go for. That being said, I have tried on the high top version, the DF, or they call it a high cut now, Phantom 6 High. There it is. That's what I'm looking for. Perfect. We'll go one more. And I would say that that is a boot that has a little bit, definitely more lockdown than this one. The only downside is if you're not a person who likes a high cut model, then you sort of have to get used to the fact that that one has an extra layer of material around the laces. That's much better. There we go. We'll go one more. Around the laces and a little bit of a high cut collar, as opposed to this one, which feels a lot more kind of normal, if you will, and a little more free, which I prefer over that other kind of 2-layer model. Ooh, not ending on a good one, but that's all right. Let's hop into the conclusion. All right, guys, so conclusion about the Phantom 6 Low in AG. It is essentially the same, like pound for pound, it's almost identical to the Phantom's GX1. Very, very similar in feel, very similar in performance. I would say that this one just turns it up just ever so slightly better padding in the heel. The sole plate is dramatically improved, which is awesome. And then the Gripknit just feels a little bit more special compared to the GX1. It's got a little bit more width. It fits true to size. And I would strongly recommend going true to size for everybody for your US sizing or your centimeter sizing. These are a Japan 27, which is a 9 US in Nike sizing. Stick with that because the fit, the length is perfect. It's really, really nice. It's gonna fit those wide-footed players like myself really, really well. Off-center lacing system gives you that little bit of extra shooting area or passing area if you want. I love these boots. I think this would be easily a very, very easy one-to-one replacement for me in terms of my match boots, like I did in 2023, wore the GX in 24 a little bit, and these would definitely be my replacement for particularly AG surfaces. If I were to pick one boot kind of for the season and just kind of wear one boot, this would probably be it. I need a little bit more time. The Tequila V5 is excellent as well, and I would definitely pick the low top over the high top, even though the high top is still fantastic and very fun to wear for something a little bit more unique. So that's conclusion. Highly recommend. Phantom 6 is a big upgrade over GX2, even though the GX2 actually fit my foot really, really well. So that's something to consider. But this is a very well executed football boot, and I'm glad Nike went back to Mizuno-ifying their football boots as opposed to coming out with something really stupid and new that no one really cares about, like the GX2. My name is Noah Cavanaugh. I'll take you guys next time on Something Can't Speak English today. Hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. As always, be awesome. Take care. See y'all in the next video.